You know, I've realized making these videos is really all I have because, you know, my father, my ex-wife, her family, who's, you know, a bunch of doctors, and they all have connections to the dirty, corrupt cops in my area. So all I really have is my voice, you know. So as painful as it is, because what's happened is incredibly painful, I feel like I have to speak on it just because what else can I do? There's some other things I do, but you know, it's like this is, I feel, a necessary part of defending my character, you know. And one of the things I ask myself is, how in the fuck did this happen? Like, how, you know? And of course, it's not for any one reason, but you know, I have a way of triggering something in people, especially in one-on-one scenarios. Like, I'll hang out in the group setting and I'm quiet and I sit back and I watch and I observe. But when I'm with an individual one-on-one, I have a way of being able to, like, kind of understand their situation, to say something that can trigger people, you know? So it's like, it's not a crime, you know what I mean? I'm just giving my spiritual insight into that individual person at that present moment. And if it's the wrong person, like somebody with narcissistic tendencies like my ex-wife or my father, it can trigger them in ways that would make them do things that you wouldn't think a human being is capable of doing, you know? So and you know, and when it comes to my father, the reason I decided to make another video is because I made the videos yesterday, I left that alone, and then I've texted him 1,000 times, a couple hundred times, with barely any replies to anything. Then last night, after I know he saw my videos online, he texts me how much he loves me, and I've disappointed him so much. Like, you know, and I'm not an empath, he said the other day, like, oh yeah, okay. You know, all right, I'm the narcissist, right? You know, like, he didn't put that in text, but he's just, a narcissist will try to flip everything, you know, and in extreme cases where you let the sickness carry on for too long, in my case, they will initiate their agenda through the people that you love the most, you know, in a form of, because if I'm just being an authentic person, just being, you know, whatever, me in the moment, just being authentic, and I don't have an agenda and I'm just show love, well, that gives a control freak or a narcissist, somebody driven by fear, the opportunity to initiate an agenda and create illusions in other people's minds, including the victim, which in this case is me, you know. So my father needs to be investigated. I know he's got mob ties. I believe he's not that smart, really. He's just not. He's good at presenting an agenda, or at talking quick. But if anybody with some experience in psychology, like Christina White, will peg his ass to the wall and point to. It was so difficult for me to see because I try to show people love. I'm like, okay, I know you have all these weaknesses, but you're still my father. I try to see the good in people, you know, sometimes, at times, to my own detriment. You know, that's blatantly clear in this case, you know, and will become more clear as time goes on, you know. It's still real painful just processing everything. You got to remember, I just found out, I started suspecting and was intuitively convinced in May 2022. I didn't know for a fact until July 15th, and then judging by our correspondence since that time, that fact has been only exemplified 1,000,000 times. Like, I know, when you know, you know. It's like, you know, and can't nobody tell you different. So, and I know because I've been studying him, you know, like he's a damn pet project, and just wanting to understand, like, how are you this retarded? Is that what happens when you get old? I'm thinking, like, you just get stupid and nothing makes any, astrology doesn't make sense, spirituality doesn't make sense, ancient Christian teachings that were around thousands of years before modern Christianity, that just started making sense the other day after I first accused him on the 13th. You know, so my father is basically, I don't see him making it out of this year. You know, between his health is going to deteriorate, his legal problems are going to deteriorate. He will continue to get weaker as I get stronger, especially now that I identified one of the main sources. You know, I know my ex-wife is involved. I know her family. You know, I pissed Daddy Ramieri off, Matt's father, bad. Like, I gave it to him. I told him all about himself for putting my son on a medication without even asking me, and then his philosophy on why. And I told him why he was completely wrong, and it made him look like an idiot in front of his own family to where he got stuck, you know. And in fact, I was partially dope sick at the time. I was in mild opiate withdrawal. So, and it made me sick the way I was already feeling a little dope sick. So I was irritable. So when I expressed to him why his philosophy was incorrect, that you don't look outside of yourself for problems, speaking from an addict, I know this, you know. So I was explaining, and he got stuck, and his whole family, because he's the doctor that knows, supposed to know all types of shit, he just sits there, and it was so uncomfortable, I excused myself and went and took a nap. That was in 2019, a year after. Gets me emotional because it pisses me off. 'Cause I had my son on Ritalin forever. You know what I mean? No, the kid just needs attention, not Ritalin, dum-dum, you know? So I know that didn't help my situation. And I usually don't. But so whatever. I just want to make these videos just because I know it's part of my process that I need to go through. And it's painful, kind of sucks right now, but I'm going to get through it. So that's about it. Have a good one.